healing that generational trauma and how that affects how we view ourselves is a massive part of the novel.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Welcome, everybody, to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I'm so grateful to have you with us today. We've got an amazing guest today. She's going to be here to share about her work. She's got an amazing new book that's come out. You've got to learn about it, and it's transformation wrapped up in a romantic novel. And my God, it's really nice. Like, I am not a romantic novel guy, but as I've been looking at the book and taking it in and just taking in all the energy around it, I've been talking with her and looking at the synopsises or whatever, type of thing. I'm really intrigued by what she's created and what she's pointing to through her work. And we're going to be going deep dive too into her and her business and what wants to unfold, what wants to get created next in her business. And along that way, you're going to get to learn more about our amazing guests, Meg Calvin, and how amazing and talented and wonderful and heart-centered and expanded she is, and the truth she's bringing to so many people around religion, femininity, I don't know, all this stuff, integration of the masculine, feminine for women. So many aspects are here that we're going to be diving into today as well. So if you've been thinking about those type of things, and you're also like, hey, I'm a visionary healer, I want to really expand my business, you're either or you're going to have an amazing time with us today. So Meg, so great to have you on the show today.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. So thankful that our paths crossed, thanks to Reverend Katie Valentine. I was doing the math this week that you've been in my life for 3 years now. And it's so exciting who we meet along the way.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it almost feels like it's been longer than that, right? Like us that probably have past life connections. It's like, no, it's been a lot longer than that. So yeah.
So true. I would agree with that. I would agree.
But yeah, wow, yeah, it's still okay. 3 years, yeah, sure. But yeah, we've talked quite a few times in different ways. You've had a circle for a while that you're coming to a bit, and just all the conversations we've had. We've had you on this show before, in the past, guys. You could always look that up too. If you really like Meg, you check out that one too. But today, again, we're looking forward to talking about this awesome book to get started with, because I know that's front and center right now. And so, looking through everything that you've shared with me, I think it's really interesting, the title, right? Because the title of the book around he holds her and all that stuff, because the truth is, me and Deb just watched. We just watched a show. Well, about everybody's heard of Mad About You, right? So we're watching the old episodes and stuff on Hulu. We actually saw like when they first met, they showed that episode first to us. And then there was another episode we watched after that. And on that episode, and both were amazing in so many ways, like point to some of the dynamics you talk about in the book too, a little bit, and a romantic relationship level. Like, he's like, I don't want to give it away to people if they never saw it from 30 years ago or whatever. But like he like chased her down, that's more stereotypical, but like, but she was like, no matter, how he was showing up at first, she's like, yeah, I'm so skeptical. No way. Yeah, but like I did all these things and I hunted you down. I asked 30 people about you and blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Okay, thanks. Thanks for bringing this thing to me that he had brought to her. And but eventually, when she realized she's safe, she can trust this man. She can trust her impulses, desires of like, oh yeah, he's cute. I like this guy, and just trusting what she felt all along. Like then she was more the one taking charge and leading and everything, right? And I thought like that was a great metaphor for this, and then I saw another episode that related to what we're talking about today, which is another Mad About You, but a housekeeper, came over and fell in love with the guy, the character, whatever. I forget. I'm really bad with names, but the main character on the show, Mad About You, and all he was doing was he was being nice, and she had come from like Russia. She's like, oh, you're so different from the men in Russia. They're just aggressive and all this, and yours almost like feminine. I mean, this is what made her fall in love with him, right? Like, and he was
Yeah.
just supportive and nice and everything. And it was this big crisis and everything. It was fun how it all kind of resolved. But anyway, so I thought it was really interesting, that desire to have the masculine show up in a new way was even be broadcast back in the 90s, like not the aggressive guy, the guy that is assertive, maybe strong, but is also is that nurturing presence, I think like that's what we're really looking at. And I know the book goes into so many aspects, but like that's one of them. And I just had to
Hmm.
throw in that episode, that happened as part of it. So I know like some of that stuff is probably part of what the idea about the book is, right? But I'd love for you to share about your book and everything about it. So yeah, so tell us about more about the book.
I love that example you gave. That is such a good example with Mad About You in regards to the characters some leading more from divine feminine energy, some leading more from divine masculine energy, and both those energies being within all humans. And you're you hit the nail on the head. That's part of the motivation behind the title. There He Holds Her is the reclamation of the divine masculine and the divine feminine within the divine and within all of us divine co-creators as humans. And there's a reclamation of fatherly love and romantic love in it's a dual timeline novel. It follows a mother in the 70s and then her daughter in 2018. And the 11-second elevator pitch is there he holds her when a people pleasing pastor uncovers her family's buried secrets. Can three generations of Texas women, a hardened grandmother, a people pleasing mother, and a truth seeking daughter finally stop protecting each other with lies that began one forbidden night back in 1979 and start healing with truth? So it's a novel that's comparable to Glennon Doyle's Untamed, which I know is not a novel, um, Barbara Kingslover's Poisonwood Bible, and yeah, I'm so excited for it to serve people. Romance, as we talked before, romance is the Trojan horse. It for the spirituality of it, the spiritual awakening that's in it, or another way of saying that is romance is the honey that makes the medicine of the book edible.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is extremely well written from what I've seen. And I'm not I mean, I was a creative writing major declared,
Yeah,
in
that's what I thought.
college. So
Yeah.
I have a little bit of, energy and focus on that sort of stuff. I switched, towards the end, like to psychology. So I was like, I don't know if I
Mm.
can make any money writing books and stuff like that. And I didn't think that I
You might.
necessarily, well, I didn't know, well, I might still, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
but I mean, I didn't necessarily feel, and my daughter actually gave me a nudge not that long, it's probably 2, 3 years ago now. And she's like, Dad, whatever happened to that creative writing? Like she's a motivator sometimes. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay. And then I
yeah.
started writing like from a scene I got in my head from 30 years ago, right? Started writing it
Oh.
out, everything. And then the energy died back down. I'm like, it's fun though. Because
Hmm.
that's what I love about writing for me, a creative writing, when you're telling a story is like, because it's an immersive movie you're in for yourself, right? It's like
Hmm.
there you don't even know what's going to happen for sure. Maybe you have a sense of the arc of the story or whatever, but the passion, right, to write and like, man, there's so many and all the messages, right? Writers like us, and
Hmm.
probably most writers, but like there's so many messages you're thinking about. Oh my God, and this is going to mean that, and that this means this. You know, it could be perceived this way or that way, and this could create a debate on this level, that level, right? It's so fascinating to think about that, and so I appreciate how you do that in your books and how you also just to let people know. I mean, you help people to write books currently, and
Mhm.
you've been doing this for a while. You've had a number of clients and really helped them. You do it in a deep way, like someone like myself would, as far as a process, would love that aspect, right? Like really exploring, like so many levels of how this book gets created, how it's going to transform me, how it's going to transform the world, and all the opportunities in it. So I think you're being a great demonstration of that through this book, and I
Mhm.
appreciate that about you.
Yes. It's interesting you mentioned all the authors I've had the privilege of serving over the past 6 years. I notice, yeah, the biggest block for servant leaders that blocks them from serving others or carrying out their promise, their soul made in this lifetime. The biggest block is they don't trust their desires as safe. And
Mm,
that is their desires around creativity, their desires around money, their desires around their personal and professional relationships. They don't trust them as safe. So that is the goal of this book. And the marketing analysis put my audience for There He Holds Her at 70% women and 30% men. And so the genre is upmarket women's fiction. And at the same time, half my beta readers were men, other male authors I admire and wanted their help and feedback. And I noticed that all the genders struggle with that block of, at my core, I do not trust my desires as safe. And so the goal of There He Holds Her is to help readers in the midst of a swoon worthy, riveting, at times on the edge of your seat book. I want to help them move from duty to desire, to perfectionism to passion, from people pleasing to presence, from should to sovereign. And so that's the goal of this book is to help people with that block that I've seen repeatedly inside of authors, which is my block is I don't trust my desires as safe.
right. Yeah, I mean, I could relate to that. I think everybody can,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge
Yeah.
one. I mean, and where, you think about where does that come from? And you've done a lot of thinking
Mm-hmm.
about that. So,
Mm-hmm.
I know you talk about, the main character is
Yeah.
in clergy, pastor, right? All
Yeah.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so that's part of it. And I just liked, I had seen it before, but I liked one of your reels, like you're
Oh,
dressed
the
up as
nun.
a nun, actually, I think, right? and
Yep.
and all that. So I won't give it away in case somebody wants to look it up. Look it up. It's pinned on her Instagram. Check it out. Get you some more followers. But it's really I thought it was a masterpiece, really, because the way you did it in a tasteful way, but yet it showed what it needed to show. It was really cool. I like your yeah, did some dancing and I like kind of those the shimmy shake of the knees, like those. I thought that she's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like a way of you trusting your desires, right? Like, but
Mm-hmm.
like these things,
Yeah.
like it's in the book, these conditioning, like you got to be like this. You want to get into heaven, you better be like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So much of that religious indoctrination
Mhm.
we sometimes confuse as our own conscience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we can't trust it, right? Like we can't
Mm-hmm.
trust to have fun with like that reel you did, for example. Yeah, she's definitely burning out. Like that'd be the idea, right? If you're like, you disrespect this or that, or you show this or show that, or you're like, this is a woman, what? Right? It's traditionally anyway in the past. So we're way past that
Mm-hmm.
for most cases these days. But like, I'm just saying, like, like all those ideas, like women should have, it wasn't that long ago, right? I mean, women,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many things, right? Women, the skirts, they can't come up too high. We've got to keep them way down, way down. Then they start coming up higher and higher, higher over the years. And then it got more and more outrageous. Oh my God, these mini skirts, that's outrageous. No, now there's like almost no skirt. And like, that's totally outrageous. Or thong bikinis or
Mm-hmm.
what. Like all this is outrageous for women. And not as much so lately because it's just so prevalent now. Now it's starting, but it still is in the imprint, right? In the consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
those type
Mm-hmm.
of things, women's roles they shouldn't even be pastors, in some religion, right? It can't be, or
Mhm.
probably shouldn't be, or that was frowned upon previously, especially. And women can't vote. They can't own certain things. Right. I think property or whatever, like they didn't have the right to own property for a long, long time, like until the 70s or so. I don't know. It's crazy. All the things I've learned, the things where I will say women's suppress. I mean, this is a universal theme, the
Mhm.
desires part, but like all the constraints that are put on women, pretty crazy.
Yes, yes. And in the novel, you are right. Reverend Hetty Stone is the protagonist, and she's trying to lead like her male colleagues in the space of the ecclesial space. And so there's a joke made by her friend Barbara, who is a also a pastor in another denomination. And Barbara makes the pastor that makes the joke that Hetty is trying to lead like a 60-year-old man in a dress and a clerical dicky, and instead of coming home to the fact that she's beautifully and powerfully different as a leader than her male colleagues, and that doesn't make her any less or better than her male colleagues. And there's different superpowers within men as there are in women, and so she gets to come home to that truth and seek the rewrite parts of her identity by finding out the truth of her own childhood and her mom's childhood and her grandmother's childhood. And so healing that generational trauma is a and how that affects how we view ourselves is a massive part of the novel.
Hmm.
And Hetty coming out and kind of like I questioned with the real Hetty asking herself, I desire this. Um, is it safe for me to desire this? Like when I made the reel of me dancing in a nun costume, and then the nun costume disappears, and it's this almost sensual. When that idea came to me to create that reel, very quickly my religious conditioning, as one who was in ministry for 20 years, the religious conditioning came in of, oh, that's not ladylike. Nuns don't dance like that. You're going to offend other religious people. But then the part of me that really values humor
Right.
just thought it was so funny and such a pleasure to create. So then doing that, the inner child work and the shadow
Right.
work of, I do want to get attention. This is funny. I want attention. And the inner child work of, I am safe. I am safe to make this silly reel of this near pole dancing nun. And because the artist in me couldn't think of any better expression of releasing the divine feminine than
Hmm.
having a reel that starts with a nun but ends with me out of my nun costume just dancing freely. And dancing is such a form of the divine feminine, because in order to dance in on beat with the song, you have to feel the beat. And so whenever I am over whenever I spent a whole day over just my divine masculine, just calling the shots, and I'm totally in that zone all day, grinding, pushing, rationalizing, all up here in my the
Hmm.
quickest way for me to get back into my body and retreat to the divine feminine energy is to dance, even if it's just for one song in the kitchen, and it brings
Hmm.
me back home to safety in my body. And so yeah, I was so thankful that reel served so many people, and that I in that moment did my inner child work, did my shadow work, shifted the story, and created what wanted to come through me, because that was safe.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today. Yeah, I mean that's just trusting like your desires you had to do that. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in that sense, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's interesting that whole dance we have about literally dance, right? So of like, should I do this? Should I not do it? What are people gonna think? And all that sort of thing. I mean, the first time I saw that on the real thing, the first time I saw it, thought, that's kind of edgy, and my brain was thinking, is she disrespect? I did. I thought, is she
Yeah.
really
All the thoughts.
disrespecting nuns? Like, so the strict grader was sort of too present for me to like it the first time. I was just like, It is pretty cool, but then again, I don't know. Like, I don't want to disrespect nuns. They are awesome in their own way,
We
right?
love our nuns. We love the
Right? I know
sisters.
you do. I know you do. I'm just saying, like,
We
I
love
remember
them.
that. I remember having those
Yeah.
thoughts, not knowing which way to go with it, at the moment, because
Hmm.
it's again, it's like something you're not going to see every day necessarily, right? So it's like, and then this next time I looked at it, knowing what you're up to, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this as a masterpiece. Like,
Hmm.
so it's like it's funny how like I was able to work through my own shadows or whatever, whatever
Yeah.
encumbrances within my own consciousness. And I think that's what when we do things that are edgy or, like that, it's the opportunity. There's going to be people that may say they hate it at first or don't like it or
Hmm.
don't resonate, but they may agree with it later. Even some of those people may agree later, right? They become converts later. I know I've been shaken up by many things in my life, and there's times like later I'm like, "Oh, I'm totally with that now, though." I used to judge channeling, and now I do channeling, right? I'd be like, what's that? That's just like making stuff up. I could do that. And I'm like, that's no
Yeah.
big deal. That's not too worthwhile or whatever. I don't know. I had all weird judgments about channeling, 20 plus years ago, but yeah, over 20, yeah, about over 20 years ago. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's funny how we can evolve when we just continue to stay present with the process and trust our
Hmm.
desires, and that's what you help people do as a with writing, right? And
Hmm.
you're constantly in that dance too.
Yes. Yes. 100%. So often, yeah, the voice in our head isn't ours. It's if we've been in relationships where we had to appease or impress people to survive and be safe, their voice, that other person's voice, so easily can become confused as our own desires when it's not ours. So I love helping for the past 6 years. I've loved helping writers come home to their bodies and listen to the part of our processing that is happening outside of the part of our brain that puts words to things, because there they can tap into their soul or their highest self, whatever we want to call that. And that usually lives outside of the part of our brain that puts words to things.
Right. Because yeah, the brain, yeah, I mean I guess you can call it masculine, but like I don't know, the
Mm,
logic part,
yeah.
bottom line is like the thinking part. Yeah, I've seen where how many limits that even when you're doing I'm high mindset or whatever, like it still can be limiting, because
Hmm.
it's like you're not listening in the moment. No, I'm building something bigger, and that's what I'm taking the big action on, and that's what works.
Hmm.
Um, and Napoleon Hill told me so, and I listen to him a lot. I love his stuff. Yet there's a whole
Hmm.
nother side of everything, right? Like I'm very much human design is in the moment. Listen, I need to follow what those downloads are, and yeah, the callings, the desires that may be there in spirit for me, but if I'm so focused on the plan and the mental plane, like
Hmm.
I won't ever hear it. I'll be like, I don't know why it's not working because I'm doing all the work. I'm mentally got it dialed in and I'm visualizing every day, but you're not listening in the
Hmm.
moment. And there's just crazy pleasure, joy, expansion that's possible when we listen to the body, we listen to our intuition. And so I love that you're, demonstrating that in part two through that book, right? Through that book, like
Hmm.
she discovers that, right? She's starting to learn to trust her body.
Hmm. Hmm. 100%. Yes, yes. That somatic memory comes in as a huge theme in the book, and that changes everything for her personally and professionally on her journey. Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's yeah, I mean, I see that as a guide. I have different guides. There's a guide that's like, let's let go of the mental completely, let the body even trust your crazy impulses, right? Like at
Hmm.
all levels you want to imagine it. Like even let's just go eat an ice cream or let's go whatever. And
Hmm.
you would think like, wait a minute, that's not biohacking and that's not this, that's not that. That's gonna screw you up. That's gonna drain your energy. Sometimes when I follow that voice, like I go deep with it, I get to the end of the week, I'm like, I dropped weight this week. What the hell? Because I relaxed. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
probably my biomarkers would have been better because you're such in a flow. That always trumps everything. Being in that flow
Hmm.
trumps everything. the mind could use that to, oh, cool. We're going to eat a lot of ice cream then, But it's not about that. It's about like, maybe you're not going to eat anything for the next day because that's your desire, right? I'm not hungry. I don't need it now, right?
Mhm.
There's so much, but like we're getting so mental these days with all, what does the AI say? What do the experts say? What does
Yeah.
this next video say? Like, we're not just trusting our own desires. There's a higher operating system that's flowing through us and in through our body intelligence as well. So, yeah, so that's great. And especially women with trauma, right? I know you talk about that. You're helping more through the book, and you want to help women more with this, I think, right? Is helping
Yeah.
them with their
Yes.
trauma overall, and trauma with theology, and the trauma that women had, on many levels, including the sexual and all the different levels. So I really appreciate you helping women specifically, and some men, with that as well.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. I notice some more Christian audience members. They I even had some even more evangelical trolls on my social media that really disagreed with me when I said that God is obsessed with your desires. They were really annoyed by that.
Mm,
And I come home to the truth over and over again that when we when we have in the Old Testament, the prophet Amos speaks of this plumb line. And my late grandmother, always used to remind me of this passage. And now, after being in metaphysical classes and becoming Reiki certified, taking intuitive development courses, and learning all the things since 2018, I realized that the plumb line Amos speaks of is just the same as saying alignment for us in the New Age metaphysical community.
hmm
And what we have, I think it serves us to remember, is when we are in alignment in carrying out the work our soul promised to do, and we have support systems in place of people that love us unconditionally, and we have habits and rituals and routines in place that keep us in alignment, it is impossible for us to desire anything outside of God, period. Period. And the second, if at all, kind of like that, going back to the nun reel, I checked in with myself. Like, am I just doing this for shock value, or am I doing this to serve? And when
Right.
I came home to the truth, and I've never done another reel like that. It really was just it was a one-time thing, and it came from service. And when I came home to that truth of, okay, I feel safe. The wounded inner child isn't speaking. I've done the shadow work. I'm doing this in clean energy to service. This is what I desire to create. It's funny, and it's going to serve, and it's going to teach, period. It's just and so I love helping authors, and in this novel and the online community that goes with this novel, specifically women, wake up, have that, rewrite that belief that, um, as Dr. H. Emily Cady said in the early 1900s, um, desire is God knocking on the door of your heart. The desire would not be there unless God put it there first. So I take that quote and I take it to mean God is obsessed with my desires. I can trust my desires.
hmm
And it is impossible for all the reasons I mentioned, if I am in alignment with my soul's promise, to
Right.
desire anything outside of God. And
Right.
that is so freeing. That takes away the guilt, that takes away the shame, that takes away the
Right.
should. And it lets women, specifically with this novel, feel safe to fully express whatever wants to come out and fully seek and receive whatever they are desiring.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to just think you're no good, you're kind of worthless,
Hmm.
like here and there, right? Like,
Yeah.
man, unless I'm really working hard today, then I'm probably like blowing it and I'm really worthless now, right? And like we have that Puritan work ethic, a lot of us, and
Right, right.
I've seen it for people where they do better in their life and their impact and everything. They take one day off during the week that they normally would used to work, right? We've had guests on here
Mm-hmm.
talk about that. The minute I started taking Mondays off, man, I got such spaciousness and so much new creativity came through, and this happened and that happened. but it's the old counterintuitive they call it or whatever. I think it's counter logic. I think it's people use counterintuitive too
Yeah.
much. Like, is it counterintuitive? Maybe it is intuitive, right? So it's more counter logic, really. I mean,
Yeah.
like, wow, look at what happened. I mean, so, but when we can trust like the way things want to happen. It's miraculous because I think there's a space for everything. There's people that are meant to put on a straight jacket for a period of time. Maybe it's all focus, it's all masculine, it's all this. Maybe, right? I mean, there's room for everything. But I love like, yeah, you
Mhm.
can trust your desires. I think I like the caveat you kind of put in there, like when you're in alignment, right, and you're connected,
Mhm.
you can trust your desires. Now, if you're trust your you you connect with the demons and the energies, the heavy energy. I don't know if you want to trust all those desires. Like
Yeah.
that's that's different, right? But when you're
Yes.
more yoked, more connected, whatever you want to put
Mhm.
it, you can trust those desires. Yeah. Whereas you're told so many teachings, including with be it the Buddha stuff and everything. Like no desires, like it's all meaningless. No, I mean, so the interpretation, I should say, of some of these teachings.
Mhm.
No, none of that. Don't even think about it. Like uh, what the movie, The Passion of the Christ, or whatever it was called,
Oh
with
gosh,
the
yeah.
sexual life of Jesus. And, oh my God, he could not have had a sexual life. Are you kidding me? How laughable is that? I mean, to even think like like that should be outrageous. I mean, but it was at the time. And
Mhm.
so I think, yourself having the background 20 years, right? And being
Yes.
in the ministry, but nobody could be better to write the book. You know, there he holds her, and given your background too. So tell us more about your before we dive into your, more what your plans are and your business and whatnot. Like, tell us more about your background so people can get to know you on that level too. Like, what led you to doing the things you do now? Like, writing books and helping, authors bring books out, and and then we'll talk
Mhm.
more about the work that you're looking to do going forward too.
Yes, so I was an ecclesial show pony from age 13 to 32. So my grandparents were missionaries and basically raised me. And before I started preaching, and you mentioned channeling, I realized I was definitely channeling when I was very young, and I would preach at conferences and churches and um, sometimes an orphanage in Mexico, just wherever my grandparents took me, I would preach, and it was definitely channeling. Mentors would tell me, "You write way older than you are," and the experience was I didn't have a word for it. We just used the Holy Spirit gave it to me. Is basically what we would say then. Um, but yeah, I had a deep obsession with a church that started when I was 6 because I my family experienced the big T trauma, little T trauma, upside down T trauma, all the T's before I was 6. And my mom's coworker invited me to sing at her church choir. It was an all black gospel choir, and I was this little 6-year-old white girl with two braids, brown braids, and I was singing in that choir, and I felt through the swaying and the harmony, I felt the palpable presence of God, of a God who loves us, knows us, and heals all wounds. And I knew in that moment, I can still see the dust particles through the stream of sunshine through the stained glass. I knew in that moment that God was going to take care of me and my family, and I'd be okay. And God did. And what developed from that moment was this not only an obsession with the church, um, which I think my soul definitely came to do, everything it had done, my soul agreed to all of it. That's where I come now in my almost 40s. That's where I am now. I agreed to all of it, even the dark or the worst stuff. God did good things through it. I learned lessons. And what developed when I was 6 was this story in me that I was only worthy of love when I was preaching in church or singing in church, that it was a performance based love. And I had no worth at all outside of that. So yeah, by age 17, I was on a church staff, went to seminary, and it was, and all of my gifts of writing were used. My pastoral care gifts were used. In 27, and I was 28 when I went to a somatic Enneagram retreat. and the facilitator there was amazing. And she asked me as an Enneagram 3 with a 2 wing. So, what that means for your listeners, I'm sure they know what that means. But the Enneagram 3 is the achiever. So, I only feel I had a story running that I was only safe if I was impressive. I was only worth love if I'm impressing you. So, at this retreat, the facilitator asked me after I had cried longer than I thought was humanly possible. The facilitator asked me, Meg, what is something you could do all day? And if no one was around to applaud you for it or even knew you did it, what would that thing that brings you pleasure be? And I knew within an instant what it was. It was writing. And so I wrote my first book soon after. It got picked up by a publishing company, and that opened the door for speaking at conferences, and other people that were servant leaders started coming up to me and whispering, their words dripping with shame, that they had a book idea, but
Hmm.
they were stuck around, is it egotistical for me to market? Is it egotistical to monetize? Can I can I even trust this idea is any good? Another way of saying all of that, can I trust my desires is safe, basically? Is my desire for more money safe? Is my desire to want attention on my book safe? Is my idea good enough? It's all, are my desires safe? So I I began. I was so fortunate. My best friend from childhood, who you've had on your show, AJ Amix, at the same time, because
I
God is
had no
always,
idea. I didn't even know you
yeah,
guys two were connected.
yep, we
Oh my
are, yep,
God.
yeah,
I love
so
you.
great, so
Yeah.
great. So he came, as you know, we were friends, and he said, I have a book idea on my heart. If you teach me how to write and help me launch it, I will make you a master of organic social media marketing, and I'll help you build your business. And that was 2019. And so I helped him. He was my first client. And now I've served 72 one-on-one clients in 6 years. And I have built a team of 7 people. And we do everything that writers need to write, market, and sell an Amazon bestseller on Audible, Kindle, and paperback. From every step of the journey, even if someone just has an idea on a napkin, my team will take care of everything in a way that honors the writer's voice, the writer's frequency, and the brand they want to develop. We take care of everything. So yeah, that's how I guess books are, in a way, my medium. Like if Michelangelo, paint was his medium. Is that right? Did Michelangelo do David? Stone and
Yeah.
paint were his
So,
mediums.
yeah.
Books seem to be my medium. That I write to heal myself and help others heal, and then I help others write their own books that help them heal and help others heal through their books. So books seem to be my medium for this lifetime.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, books. I've look at the stacks of books I have over here that I got on one shelf because I was rearranging my shelves, and I haven't got these ones organized yet. But even me, as someone that's not a big book hawk, through the years, yeah, and as a podcast host as well, I got books that come in quite a bit, electronic more and more these days. Like, here's my book, and. Unfortunately, I'm not a voracious reader at this point. Like the only time I was is when I was into fiction but that was like horror stuff, which at the time my mind was pretty disturbed. So that kind of like worked for me at the time. But like I'm not in that state of mind. But like, yeah, that was the only time I can remember getting really, really deep in like really voracious about reading all the time. And then other than that, like just that there's certain books that really call to me. I'm like, oh, just download it, read it. I'll really get into it. But that's not super often. Otherwise, I kind
Mm-hmm.
of pick away at reading. I'm like, let me read this for a little while. Okay, I'm gonna go do something else. I tend to be a little bit more like that, pick away, or sometimes I'm called to speed read. I'm just like, shh, and I can read really fast, compared to most people anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. Anyway, I don't know. You got me down the rabbit hole of books and reading. Like just even saying that you're into the books or the medium. So yeah, I really love that. Books are like a medium that is never going to go away. It's never going to go away for
Right.
sure. Because
Yeah.
everybody is always going to be looking for that. package of that transmission that comes in a form of a book, whether it's electronic or physical or whatever it is, right? So
Hmm.
that's why one of the things won't go away. It will not disappear. We will continue to have books. We've been around
Yeah.
for that could be a whole nother show, right? Talk about the history of books, but
Oh, yeah, so true. Hmm.
so, but yeah, anyway, so you've been doing, so I didn't realize it was quite 72. I know you said something about you had helped,
Yeah.
quite a few, so that's really cool. And then, um, you're someone, yeah, you like on a list of a short list, or you're one of those people, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd be comfortable to help, get help to get my book from Meg, and so, I appreciate this. And so you've been helping them and you've got a team to help you with that now. And
Hmm.
you continue to have a passion to help people with that. But also, like with this book you came out with, you told me, uh, when we're talking about having you back on the show, they also have a passion for the idea of continuing to create more books and serving people through containers through the books, what the book is talking about or what it points into, etc. So, so yeah, I'd love to talk to you a little bit about that now. Tell us about your vision to help in that way.
Yes. I've always prided myself as being a Methodist in Methodist ministry. I've always prided myself that I felt called to serve both men and women. And all my clients have been, I would say 50-50, 50% men, 50% women. And in the past 3 years of working on There He Holds Her, is following Reverend Hetty Stone, this female pastor, through her spiritual awakening, where she begins to have moments where she's using her intuitive abilities and thinks she's crazy and thinks she's heretical. Um, as I was following her story, I felt this divine calling to really help women in servant leadership who, in the name of humility, have made their preferences invisible and have denied themselves. And they've been a sanctuary for everyone else, but they haven't been offering that to themselves. And they don't have a sanctuary for themselves. And so with There He Holds Her, God called me to do something that I thought was crazy, but I totally love it now. And I'm so excited. And that is using fiction as a healing modality. And so what I mean by that is I now steward online women's communities. And we use There He Holds Her as part of the curriculum, along with somatic exercises and boundary work, along with intuitive gifts development, I should say intuitive gifts remembering, and removing the shame around using those intuitive abilities. I don't think I know on my own journey, and since 2018, when I began taking intuitive development classes and learning about reincarnation and chakras and crystals and all things woo woo, it was in that world and through that lens and through that language that I found healing for deep childhood wounds around physical abuse and abandonment. I found healing that I don't think I would have found in my Methodist doctrine. And I also was more equipped to listen to myself and trust myself through my metaphysical classes than I ever was in my seminary classes. So Hetty in the book, Reverend Hetty Stone, her character arc is similar to my character arc in that sense. So I built the Treasure Within, this online women's community that helps keep women do in 3 months what it took me about 10 years to do. And part of that also includes understanding their cyclical nature and honoring their rhythms, that unlike our our friends and lovers that are men, that we have different neurological superpowers every week as women, and so many of us don't know that. I also want to help women reclaim their pleasure and their sensuality as holy and good, and
Mhm.
then learn to lead from wholeness and not performance. And so, um, yes, the first cohort launched 3 weeks ago, and it's been such a gift to be, say, stewarding this space for women.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So, um, so let's, yeah. So do you want, is that the particular group you would want to continue that type of one is what you're imagining, or is like different types of groups that might have some commonalities, but may continue to permeate in new different
Yeah.
type of groups.
Good question. Yes, I definitely see 3 or 4 times a year I will offer the Treasure Within, which is
Mhm.
the online women's community that uses the novel There He Holds Her as part of the curriculum. And
Mhm.
then I've been invited to speak at churches, which is so crazy. I never thought I would be going back,
That's cool.
but I had this insane metaphysical moment 5 months ago with Jesus, and spoke to me as if one of my guides was speaking. And I
Hmm.
remember in Reverend Katie Valentine's first class I took, where I met one of my spirit guides. It was such a realistic, palpable experience. And my spirit guide came to me in a dream, and Katie asked me about it, and invited me into a deep transcendental meditation to meet my spirit guide again, one of my spirit guides. And I had never had an experience like that with Jesus. Even though I was obsessed with the Christian church, I was always connected to the Godhead part of the Trinity. I had never spoken to Jesus through a moment of clairaudience like I had with my other guides and other loved ones that have crossed over, where I've had mediumship moments with them. But 5 months ago, Jesus came to me, and it was undeniable what Jesus said to me. So now I'm going back to the church, and I've been invited to speak at churches, and it's all about helping women trust their desires as safe and come back home to their body. And I'm surprisingly being invited to very evangelical conservative churches where, like you said, some denominations do not ordain women. The Methodists, where I was raised, we've been doing it, oh gosh, almost 80 years now, if that, probably more. But I'm going to a Nazarene church this month, and they don't ordain women, and they're inviting me into their doors, and I'm just following what
Mm.
Jesus is saying to me right now, and as a guide, and in this new phase. So I'm so excited, and I'm laughing because when I left ministry, I like I said, was obsessed with the church, addicted to church, had no life outside of the church. It
Right.
definitely hit compassion fatigue in 2018.
Right.
And now I feel this call of go back and help other women. And so help them remember their intuitive abilities, help them trust their desires as safe, help them reclaim pleasure and sexuality as holy, and help them shine their light in service to self and others. Go back to the church. So that's what I am doing. That's my goal, are these online communities for women, and speaking in churches, IRL, in real life, and then continuing to use fiction as a healing modality.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know about the church speaking. That's really phenomenal. And so
Yeah.
so let's talk about on the business, we want to get down to business. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
the show is
Let's do
supposed to
it.
be in part about doubling your income, right? So
Right.
so let's talk about the business aspect. Now,
Yeah.
speaking of the churches, I imagine you can, bring your books, sell those. I would imagine anyway. I don't know. And then, yeah, let me know, like, what is the financial opportunity? Are you speaking for free? Are they paying you to speak? Are you doing
Mm.
workshops at the churches? Like, what's kind of the situation right now with that? Like, there's so many levels of
Yeah.
this, but like, start there. Yeah. Because I feel a lot of
Yes.
energy with the churches.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Yes. So at the time we're recording this, I'm 5 months out before the book drops. And so the speaking of the that I'll do at churches in these next 5 months before the book drops is it is free. I speak, and then I invite and I'm upfront with the churches. I A heads up, this workshop stands alone that I'm offering. And at the end, I'd like to invite your women to join my online community, which is called The Treasure Within. And
Mhm.
so they know that up front, that that's happening. And I feel after the book comes out that, yes, I could see myself charging to come into churches and sharing the profit with the churches, because I'm helping them. I'm helping them offer ministerial moments. I'm being very sensitive to the doctrines and dogmas of those churches. So the more progressive churches, I use different language. than the more conservative churches, obviously, but I'm getting to the same end with all the women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, yes, that is my model for the next 5 months is I won't charge, but I will invite them to join the online group where there they will be asked to make a monetary value exchange to
Right.
join our community.
Right.
And then the other giant part of the business plan is I've invested in a USA Today best-selling book launch strategist, Amber Vilhauer, because I know how to get clients that I serve. I know how to get authors to Amazon bestseller and build an authentic brand, write it, market, sell it, Audible, Kindle, paperback. I know how to do that. And that's moving around hundreds of books.
Mm.
USA Today bestseller is 3 to 5,000 units moved in a week. And so
Right.
that is what I'm learning now and working toward
Right.
so that the book can actually make profit for as well. So that is,
Yeah, I think they
yeah.
say what, like New York Times is top billboard. The next one after that is something like USA Today, right? Or they
Hmm.
have these different like levels, right? So yeah,
Yes.
that's great. That's another level to go to rather than, the usual one, which is Amazon, which is great. But that's
Hmm.
another level of impact and circulation.
Right.
So, okay, cool. All right. So yeah, you're gonna have your book sales and all that. So are these churches you're going to are what size are they? Are they small, medium, large, all different or
Right now, the ones I have booked are small and medium.
uh-huh.
And I just made contact today with a mega church. And so I feel that is, that is coming because I'm following
Right.
these divine breadcrumbs. And I will, I have, this is what I'm focusing in on now, business wise, is the
Mhm.
most favorite part of my coaching business. The past 6 years has been the part where I help servant leaders become spiritually unblocked and creatively unblocked so
Mhm.
they can serve, as I say, they can shine their light brighter in service to self and others. So I love that client care piece so very much. And so that is what I'm focusing in on with the treasure within the online community groups. And at the same time, I'm still taking writing clients and still have them now,
Mhm.
and my team isn't going anywhere. And so I am using the modality of books in different ways, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean you're really smart. You've tuned in. You've got a lot
Mm-hmm.
of plans and a lot of good things set up for yourself. So let's yeah, like there's a few different thoughts I'm having. I have millions of thoughts at
Okay.
once, it feels like sometimes. So, but like one of
Same.
the thoughts I'm having is around, you sharing a little bit about what is the investment for the treasure within group so we can talk about doubling, your income. So,
Yeah. Yes. That is, yes, the founders group
hmm
that is in it right now, that is a pilot, that's helping me perfect it. It was
hmm
a $3,000 investment for 3 months, and then I break
hmm
it up into up to 12-month payment plan to make it accessible.
right.
And I am going to increase that investment after this founders group when I perfect it um, and offer it again. And I am sitting. I have been given a number, and I've been given a number by my strategist,
Mm.
and it doesn't feel in alignment for me. And so I'm sitting in that place of a desire to truly help women and make it accessible for
Mhm.
them. And
Mhm.
also the truth of this is, like we all say as coaches, this is 20 years worth of work and research that and results that they're going to get in 3 months. Um, and so I'm sitting in that
The 10
question.
grand, is that so what it is? What is it that she suggested?
Oh, she doubling it. So the
Doubling.
suggestion,
Okay.
yep, yep. So
Oh,
the
that's only
suggestion,
doubling, Meg. I mean, come
I
on,
know,
it's only
I
doubling.
know. You're
And if you
right.
do these
You're right.
generous payment plans, I mean, that's only $500 a month. I mean, for the right people, that's not going to be a problem, right? And you're dealing with leaders. I mean, people are really willing to invest. You're not just taking necessarily anybody and everybody that wants to come into the group, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
not like for everybody. Is that correct or no?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. My avatar is definitely servant leaders. Yes.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, even if you increase, so what would you want to increase it to when you're like, oh, it's a no-brainer, I'm going to increase it to this? What would that be?
Yes. On my website, it's getting a whole facelift. It literally says the price, the investment of 6,000 for a 3 month
Okay, so it is
container.
up already. It's
It,
up.
it's up, and the self sabotage is there. And even
Mhm.
though I have invested so much more in my own
Right.
coaches,
Right.
there's a part of me that um yeah that struggles with
Right.
this moment, even though
Right.
I believe in the results that I have helped people get. Yeah, there's that a remnant of a money block, it seems, for me. So
Right. Right.
your feedback is much appreciated.
Yeah. So I'm tuning into your energy. I'm guided in this case to your sacral chakra. So let me see what I'm hearing there. Um, yeah, I just get overall like for whatever reason I'm getting it from the sacral, but like wow, that's the level at which everybody just thinks I'm in it for the money more so now. That's what I feel. That's what comes out. Like it's like
Oh,
now
say that again.
going to 6,000 represents a number that that the belief system that I'm picking up in the energy is saying, oh, that's the level at which people start to believe like maybe I'm after the money more so now, like
Mm,
rather than the
mm-hmm,
mission. Like there's the
mm-hmm,
idea like I can make good money and be mission based. Yeah, absolutely. I totally believe in that. But you start to increase that number at some point, you're like, that's, because the old church stuff. If you're mission based, it's got to be, at a certain level, right? Man, we get
mm-hmm,
certain, now it's greed and but it's so the energy in the sacral is like, we don't know. We got to be a good little girl, like that's what I'm hearing. Like, be the good little girl. It's okay to
yeah,
make some money and do well, but that's getting a little crazy, like we don't know about that. We're scared about that. That might get us in trouble. And, people might not want to, play with me now or whatever. Like, that's what I'm hearing in the sacral chakra. But if I go to the bold, wild child, like, type of energy in there, that's more like, yeah, that's nothing. We could go higher. Let's go to the 10 grand. Like, so, really just flipping that energy around is really the big thing.
mm,
And
mm-hmm,
so that's, I know a lot of people do similar work in terms of like what they're after, but like that's one of the things I do. Like I go to flip that energy. So we literally like we don't have time on the show to do it today, but but like I would like tune into the energy together with you. We would commune with it. We would listen to what it's saying. If it showed up somewhere else in your system, that's fine. I'm not attached to what I'm picking up on, like being the absolute, that's the only place it is. But like just being guided from this process. Okay, where is it? Where's the energy that's stuck? Let's flip it around. Let's get it into the enlightened state of wild child. But then the discerning part of you is still around, probably, right? There's usually some agreement. We strike a deal.
mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, we can let go a little bit, not be so scared. We can let that wild child like lead the way more. Is that okay? Then we hear like, yes, yes, okay. I'll trust a little bit more. Okay. Then maybe we get up to 5,000 aligned, right? Like keep it going, right? So we find that perfect space for you. So I think,
Mm.
getting aligned with that, that opportunity is where the growth is, there. Um, so yeah, we could talk about that. Yeah, what are your thoughts just with what I just shared, like in terms of the read with you and everything? Yeah.
Yes, yes, you hit the nail on the head. Yes, the sacral chakra is where I make my decisions based on human
Mhm.
design. And so that is
Mhm.
my authority center.
Yes.
So, yes, yes. And
Mhm.
I'm also holding an orange calcite, which connects to the sacral chakra. So, for
Mhm.
creative communication and storytelling. Um,
Mhm.
so yes, 100%. That is
Mhm.
that is the story running is for the past 6 years, I haven't been working with religious institutions. It's been coaches and clients who are
Yeah.
used to, I'm sorry, coaches and business owners, pardon, that
Yeah.
were my clients. So they
Right.
they know the normal, quote, normal investment points.
Right.
And so now that Jesus is calling me, my guides are calling me, my higher self is saying, go back and help other women in the church who are stuck in indoctrinations from their faith. There is a part of me that's like, oh, this, I guess poverty is piety. I need to go back to that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And and you are right. I don't need to go back to that.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, that's kind of one of the lies we have, right? You know more books than I do, but I've got on my shelf over here, The Millionaire from Nazareth, right? Catherine Ponder, and like there's many examples, other books like that. I can't remember all the titles, but so many that show
Hmm.
from the Bible, from all the, I think the Moses books or whatever. I don't know, different ones where wealthy, very holy, usually men, from back then, but like also Mary Magdalene, whatever. Like, yeah, we
Very,
look at
yeah,
all
she was
those
very wealthy.
examples, right? Mary Magdalene's a
Hmm.
perfect one for you to be tuning into, probably one of your guides, right? So, but
She
anyway,
is.
right?
Yep, she is.
How
You're
did I know?
exactly
I
right.
don't
Yep,
know.
she's in the novel too. She's all over there. He holds her. Her
Yeah.
whole gospel is in there. Yeah. So you're right. She is a. Thank you for calling me back to her. She's a mighty guide to me. Yes.
She will bring you the wealth. She's all about wealth. I mean, you really want to tune that into that sacral chakra
Okay.
as well, and she will help you to feel, if you do the work on your own. But like my point is, you integrate that energy into the sacral with doing this work and the price point and all the stuff. Bring all that synergy together. You'll be like, all right, I got it now. Like that will definitely create that breakthrough, synergizing with Mary Magdalene because she'll give it to you straight. Like,
Mm.
okay, yeah, get rid of that. That's a bunch of garbage and like whatever. And so yeah, so I see that being a kind of the energetic solution, and that will
Mm.
alone like help to create it because yeah, then the idea is, well, we charge more, then we have lower numbers and those kind of ideas. So that's more your headspace, right? Our headspace will tell us that. So when we go there, then and we want to translate that into like more of that trust, and often that for me, many places, but it could be like again, like just the basics of like this crown chakra needs to open and just be like, I can trust my
Mm.
download. I can trust what I'm sensing is wanting to happen. No, Jesus, the guides, the infinite source, whatever we call it, whatever ways we're getting the
Mhm.
messages, it's telling me, no, the room is full still. It's 6,000, like whatever. Like I can feel it. I can sense it from my guidance, right? And getting past the mental construct that we give that it creates a smaller room and just, realize maybe it's the opposite. Sometimes we increase, this is a little bit heady of me just saying this, but like sometimes when we increase the price, it's possible to fill the room more because you're valuing yourself more. So I think, that's one of the opportunities is just to really value yourself more, and then, everything will work itself out. Yeah, we have a visitor here.
Yes. Rodney has joined the space. Yes.
That's
Yes.
fun.
I I feel everything you're saying as
Mm,
deep truth. Thank you for speaking it over me. Yes.
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 Mm. So there you go. I mean, right there, we've got, bringing in that the numbers are going to hold or go higher. Yeah, with all the new, speaking the mega churches. Oh my God, the mega churches, they get it. There's prosperity consciousness, a lot of them anyway. And so you're gonna, you do really well. I really get that. That's huge. They say hockey stick growth, right? The mega churches will really bring the hockey stick growth. Also in this endeavor and sell those books too. That's going to really drive the book sales up, be a huge contribution as well. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, so that's all part of in this aspect of what you serve in your business, how you can double your income. And we don't have enough time on the show to get in every aspect of your business, but we were able to get to that at least today. So, yeah, the only other thing I'll just share real briefly is we can talk about it off the show too if we want to, but one thing that just is with grounding. Like today on this call, like our interview, there's grounding, right? There's grounding right now,
Mm.
but I also get like the grounding drops out. Like grounding drops out in ways that don't allow things to completely land. Sometimes is what I'm getting. Like they're not completely landing. fear of abandoning others, given that's one of your wounds, is what I'm hearing now. Like, I don't want to abandon others, so I have a nest to take care of. I've got to take care of this, so that within a certain parameter of energy and nesting, and this is the sort of energy I'm seeing. Like, okay, this is good. We're grounded. We're good. Okay, now you're traveling. You're doing tons of travel. You're going to all these churches, everything. It's like, like the grounding, the sense of security starts going down, getting in front of all these groups. So bringing in more strength into the root chakra and grounding into all those spaces is going to be another thing. It's going to be, otherwise things could go haywire. You could get a lot of sales still, but things could go haywire, like whether it's your health or your safety at some level or whatever, like just the way the energy hits you, then we knock you down. Like we need to get more grounding as part of it to help you with that as well, to ensure, the results to grow more. So anyway, I just thought I should share that as my last thought for you for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
I do refer to my house as a nest. So that's
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect. Not that you needed my validation of your abilities, but yes, perfect.
But it's always fun still. It's always fun.
Yes.
How many times it happens. It's still fun for me.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Meg. Well, we're about to wrap up. So let people know, where they can, check things out about you or connect with you more, get your book when it comes out. And if, whatever, it might be out already when they're listening, who knows? Depends on when they listen. So tell them more where they can reach out.
Yes, I love to share this gift with listeners, and it is discovering your intuitive abilities in scripture. So if you head to megcalvin.com, you will find that little quiz, discovering my intuitive abilities in scripture. And it's a video, 15-minute video and little quiz that goes with it. And then, of course, everything about There He Holds Her will be on that site as well.
Okay. We'll put that into the show notes for everybody to check that out. And as far as if you want to check me out, just go to yoursacredpurpose.com. You can get meditate and make money meditation. Yeah, do it the easy way. Meditate, make money, and allow yourself to get connected and to be guided more. And that meditation helps you with that and get some activations and whatnot. So if you want to get more direct help from me, like you're seeing as a sort of a demo here today with Meg, check out my energy scan consultation that I do to rock your sacred purpose. You'll find that on my website, and look forward to serving you. Okay, so Meg, do you have any last words you want to share with everybody? Any words of wisdom or anything you want to share? Yeah.
I will just quote Dr. H. Emily Cady, who said, "Desire is God knocking on the door of your heart."
Yes. All right. I love it. Okay. Thank you so much, Meg. Always a pleasure to be with you, and awesome to have you share what you had to share today. Appreciate you so much. All right. And I give thanks to all our listeners for being here and listening. Like I always say, keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time. You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.